Hi, this is Mr. Bouchard here, and this is Science 8, and this is the introduction notes on scientific method. And we're going to today be talking about how do scientists use observations and inferences. Okay, so what is an observation? All right, it's simply a perception of something using your human senses. All right, so in other words, I'm using my human senses to simply describe an object that I'm looking at, or hearing, or touching, or tasting, or smelling. So in other words, I'm using my human senses to describe the object. So the types of words that you're going to see are adjectives, describing words in English class. All right, so an example: the rock is shiny, the folder is green, the weather is cloudy because I'm seeing it with my eyes. I'm looking outside. This classroom is smelly. I'm using my nose to make that description. And the floor is slippery. I'm feeling it with my feet. So those are all examples of observations. Okay, next we have instruments. All right, and sometimes our observations we can't make very well. So this will help to make better observations in instrument. So it's a human device that extends our senses to make better observations. So we're using instruments to get data, which even the data is still an observation. It's basically irrefutable. It's a factual piece of information about the object. So when we want to look at small stuff, we look through a microscope or a hand lens. So that's extending my sight. If I want to also know how big something is, I can measure it using a ruler or a caliper or a meter stick or a measuring tape, depending on how big it is. Also, instead of just saying that this classroom is hot, I can actually figure out with a thermometer that it's exactly 79 degrees in here, Fahrenheit. Okay, so either way, instruments are still observations. They're just helping to make better observations overall. Okay, next, inferences. So when we make observations first, we sometimes go the next step, and that's what an inference is, which is a conclusion, opinion, explanation of your observation. They can be simply identifying objects or things, which we do often in science, and so identifying rocks and minerals as an example, or types of clouds. So tomorrow it's going to rain. It will be warmer tomorrow. I think Johnny made that mess, or this mess. So again, there's doubt behind the statement. We don't know if Johnny made that mess. We just made a guess. Maybe Johnny sits at that desk, so that's his mess. We don't know till the next day until we ask Johnny. Also, anybody that saw Johnny make the mess, that's an observation. This rock is obsidian. Again, there is uncertainty to that answer. We could be wrong. We could be looking at a sample of basalt instead, another type of rock. All right, and then a type of inference also can be a prediction. Okay, a prediction is an inference that attempts to tell future events. So I'm trying to predict the weather forecast. That is actually a prediction, which is still an inference. The only difference is it tries to tell a future event. And we won't know if it's right until the next day when the forecast is happening. All right, so that's the difference between the two, and you guys need to know the difference between an observation and an inference. And that's what we're going to be practicing in the coming days. All right, so I hope to see you next time, and keep coming back to the videos.